reality is the mirror will always show you the real truth. So although we say some of those things or don't say some of those things to ourselves, we can only do it for a period of time. See, that was me. I did not say those things to myself because my head trash and my internal dialogue said a lot of different things. It said that you were not confident. It said that you had low self-esteem. It said that you didn't believe in yourself. It said that you did not think you were beautiful. It said that you had so many scars and bruises that you didn't think you were worthy for God to even use. See, that's the head talk that we talk to ourselves on a daily basis. See, I think that people say all the time, it's okay to talk to yourself, but I don't really believe that. But they say, as long as you don't answer back, talk to yourself, it's okay. But can I tell you, there is something wrong with talking to yourself if all you do is share negative talk with yourself. Because you're doing more damage than you're actually doing good. If all you're ever saying is you're not good enough, or oh, I don't like that muffin top, or oh, I'm not as skinny as I should be, or oh, I'm not as beautiful as I should be, or will they actually like me? Will they invest in my program? Will they believe in me? If you're saying all those things and not saying back to you, there are so many women who can be blessed by you. Why would you think your story is not great enough? There is someone who's going to resonate with it. There is someone who's going to be blessed by you. See, but we say all of the first side and we never encourage ourselves on the second side. But most of you are worried about what everybody else is saying about you when in fact you're doing more damage to you than anybody could ever do. So until we recognize that we have to discover within ourselves what's going on and execute to be able to say, I'm no longer going to discourage myself, but instead I'm going to continuously encourage myself. See, that was me for a long time. I didn't encourage myself. In fact, I discouraged myself on a regular daily basis. But it wasn't until I was able to reveal to myself what was going on. So see, if you had asked, like she just asked us in the workshop, how many of you and when did you discover your bottomless confidence? Most of us said a certain age, but if we think about it now, was that really our bottomless confidence? Because see, bottomless confidence means that nothing else was shaking you at that time. Nothing that anyone threw at you was going to be able to knock you, and you were not dealing with anything along the way. That's when you can say you have bottomless confidence. Because everything is aligning, not on the outside. Because if you have bottomless confidence on the outside, but your inside is shaken, then where is your confidence? Because confidence on the outside, again, when I reflect that mirror back on me, it was telling me the truth, right? But I had said and started convincing myself of what was my real truth. But I had to finally discover, wait a minute, that's not your real truth. That's what your negative head trash tells you is the truth. The real truth is that most of us feel as though God can't use us because we're broken. Can I tell you, that's when he can build you the most. He can build you up the most when you're broken. And most of us are saying, okay, God, can you bless me? But God, I'm ready. And he keeps saying, no, you're not really ready because I keep on saying execute and move forward and you keep on stepping back. See, we want God to bless us. And we say, I'm waiting on God. God says, no, I'm waiting on you to show up. Since when do you wait on me? I'm waiting on you. Because he's always ready, but are we ready? See, he's going to show up all the time, but the fact of the matter is we're not willing to do our part to show up. See, how many of us want something, but we're not doing the work to get it? See, everybody want to get in that entrepreneurial journey, but it's a rough journey. And you got to be willing to put in the time, you got to be willing to put in the work, and you got to be willing to execute even when you are afraid. See, that's what holds us up most is our fear. See, that was me. I was fearful. I was fearful of what success looked like because I was okay not being known. I was okay being the Regina nobody really knew. But then God has to say, well, wait a minute, I can't really use you if you always hide behind closed doors. So you got to step out there and walk and allow me to use you. And so when I tell you what I say today, that unlock your inner confidence, I really had to discover my confidence because I was not confident. So when people see me today, I said, don't get fooled by all the glitz and the glamour. I'm not pretending I wasn't broken at some point. But what I know is I allowed God to build me up. See, when we're broken, we got to be willing to get past the brokenness so that God can use us. And he's never going to use us whole. We're always going to be dealing and growing. So would you be willing to grow, though? See, that's where we stop because we ain't willing to grow. The minute it gets a little uncomfortable, we out. That's when you're going to get that's when you get the best of you. I now know the best of me because when people would say, how you doing? I'd be like, girl, I am blessed and highly favored. How many of y'all know y'all say that all the time? I'm blessed and highly favored. But inside, I was so broken. There was no blessed and no highly favored at all. Why? Because I was broken down inside. But then when I really was able to discover who I was, now I tell people all the time, I have on my high beams on a regular basis. I'm not willing to turn them down for anyone. In fact, I tell everybody, put on yours too, because we're supposed to be shining like diamonds. So why are we dimming our light so that we can fit in with everyone else? But most of us get caught up in fear, so we don't want to execute because we're scared. See, some of y'all are supposed to have retreats like this, but you're scared it won't be packed like this. Well, maybe you're only supposed to have 10 women in a room. Why won't you step out there and execute? Because those 10 women were supposed to show up at your retreat, but you didn't have it, so now they can't go to the next level. Some of you are supposed to host workshops, but you won't host workshops. Why? Because you said, what if nobody comes? Some of you are supposed to write books that's going to bless thousands of women be able to go to the next level, but you won't even write the first word. How do I know? Because I was the same way. I didn't want to do the workshops. I didn't want to write the book. But I had to write my book because God says, wait a minute, don't worry about how many people will buy it. Write it, because when they do buy it, they'll be blessed. Don't worry about who's going to purchase it. I'm going to handle that. So we won't step out of our comfort zone to be able to execute. So that's why I was so excited to come to Natasha's conference, because you go to a lot of conferences and you get the roo-rah. But when the roo-rah is done and you've taken all those notes, what are you going to do with them? Because those notebooks at home collect dust. The journaling you're doing, it collect dust. Why is it just sitting? Take it and turn it into a program. Take it and turn it into your business. Take it and turn it into a retreat or a workshop. Stop holding on to the gifts God is giving you and actually start using them. But when you allow fear to jump on your back, you won't do it. Can I tell y'all, most of y'all paying weekly mortgage rates to fear. You cry every month on the first of the month when you pay your real mortgage or your real rent, but you're giving fear weekly bills. And high price too. You're paying high ticket price. Stop giving fear more credit than it deserves. Now, I'm not telling you it's going to go away, but what I'm telling you is learn what works for you to get rid of fear. So for me, it was fear of being successful. Fear that people will know me. Fear that people wouldn't understand or my story wouldn't resonate with some people. God had to show me, let me tell you, you're going to get into a many of rooms and your story is going to bless some people. It's going to resonate with some people, and some people it might not even move. But can I tell you, go and show up and give 100%, because somebody needs what I have in you, because I'm going to decrease you and increase me every time so that someone can go to the next level. So I had to understand. People say, I used to be like, oh my gosh, what if they don't call me to speak at their conference? Oh, what if my message might not resonate? See, this is what the fear was telling me. But I had to tell myself, girl, if they don't call you, they have not heard you rock your stage yet. But when they do, they're going to be like, you got free time on your calendar. Can you come and can you speak? See, we got to be able to encourage ourselves. Stop worrying about everybody else encouraging you. What about you encouraging yourself? Yes. We have got to start building up ourselves and stop waiting for everyone else to lift us up. What about you lifting yourself up? I love that song. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself, because no one else will. And see, most of us, where we fall short is we are waiting on someone else to encourage us. We are waiting on someone else to validate that the vision God gave you is okay. No one is ever going to validate your vision. Why? Because God didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. So they cannot see it as clearly as you can. They cannot feel it, touch it, or smell it like you can. And most importantly, they will not execute it like you can. And so most of you say, well, I don't know if I should be a coach, or I don't know if I should be a speaker, because there's so many speakers out there, there's so many coaches out there. When I hit this stage, I don't worry about what anybody else is speaking or who comes before me or after me, because they'll never deliver their story like I can, and they can never tell my story like I can, because it's my story. I experienced it, I went through it, and they never lived it, so they don't know what it feels like to walk through it. So don't be afraid of what everybody else is in the same arena as you. That means nothing. God gave you the gift and only you can use it. Everybody else is taken, so we shouldn't want to be anyone else. You should always be striving to be the best you. Yes. Nobody else, because if you try and be them, then you're not being the best you. So how can you actually move in your greatness and in your gift? So the confidence part, we are lacking in that area, but we are quick to say we are confident. If your confidence on the inside does not match your confidence on the outside, how can you actually be confident? Because it will begin to show. You can only hide but so long, because when you look yourself in the mirror, the truth will show, right? We can only hide but so long. We can only put on the mask for so long. And we can only use blessed and highly favored for so long, because I found that out. Because I used blessed and highly favored quite some time. But then I kept saying, every time I said blessed and highly favored, right behind that I said, whew, girl, that took a lot to say that. It was draining me to say blessed and highly favored. Why? Because I knew I wasn't blessed and highly favored. I knew that my confidence had been shaken, and for a long time shaken. See, in life we go through journeys and it gets chipped away. And until we start rebuilding it back, it's just that, chipped away. So we have to actually dig deep and start building back our own confidence. And that goes back to encouraging yourself, building yourself up, and walking in your greatness, and don't allow yourself to even tell yourself you're not great. Because we sometimes tell ourselves we're not great. And then we say, okay, I'm ready, God. And so God says, okay, go a little closer. And you say, I'm ready, God, and you go back. He said, and then you say it again, I'm ready, God, you're going this way. He's saying, wait a minute, my greatness is right there at the edge if you just be willing to go and look over. Most of us get here and we like, okay, I'm going to look. Now you're peeking. You can't even get all the blessings he's got for you because you're too busy peeking. Stop peeking. Run. Get it all. Like he's there. He's waiting to give it to us, but we just won't run and take it. So we keep peeking, and then we get a little scared, and we go back. Then we peek again, and then we go back. Stop peeking. Go full out. Xecute. This is 2016. Why are you waiting on your blessings, and your blessings are waiting on you? Will you leave 2016 the way you entered in 2016? Or will you go out in 2016 saying, I've done so much? See, in 2014, I went on a huge discovery. So she says, what's your age for your confidence? I said 40. I'm only 42. 2 years ago, I went on a huge discovery. Why? Because I was that woman looking in the mirror saying, ooh, I don't like that muffin top. Ooh, I feel a little fat. I can get on the stage, and I be on the stage like this all the time, y'all, tugging. I have on a skirt most of the time because I want nobody to see all this, right? But now I'm looking good. Look at me. So I was just tugging. So my confidence that was going down and down was I was overweight and I didn't like it. Yes. But we have things that we don't like, but we're not willing to do anything about it to change it. Yes. Because it's a mindset thing first. If you don't change your mindset, nothing else would change. Come on. You can keep losing the weight, because I could have kept losing the weight. I could have worked out with my coach in the back there, and lost all that weight, but if my mindset had not changed, the weight would still be there. Just because we change a dress, I could change and put on this smaller size dress, but I could still feel fat in my mind. Yeah. See, that's where most of us are going wrong. Yeah. We're changing some things, but we forget to change here first. And then we forget to align it with here. Because if you change it here and don't change and align it with your heart, then it's just that. You're just making changes. It's not going anywhere. You're not making any progress. You're not getting delivered. You're not going to the next level. You are standing still. So can I tell you, as women, it's no longer time for us to stand still anymore. It's time for us to get moving. And I mean move with tenacity. Move with purpose. Move with a mission. Because I tell you all the time, I love it, but I'm not going to knock it. The vision board parties, love them. But if you do that little pretty colorful board and you don't do nothing with it and you don't create no action steps, it's just that, a cute colorful board. But what actions are you going to put with it? That's why I love to come to this retreat. Because Natasha says, what actions are you going to lay on the line? What are you going to execute? See, I don't want to give you a notebook full of information and you're not ready to execute that information. You got to be willing to move with what you learn and don't overlearn, because when you overlearn, you want overload. Yes. So overload is definitely going to keep you standing still, because why? You feel like you got so much weight on your back, you don't know what to do with it. See, some of us are still carrying around the weight on our past where we might have fell down and fell. But we forgot the lessons we learned in that failure. And we should have dropped the weight off because we got the lesson and you learned. So why did you still carry the weight? That's what most of us are trying to figure out. Why are we still carrying the weight? Why are you still carrying the past hurts? Why are you still carrying the past disappointments? See, I know, because that was me. I carried all those weights for all those years. I'm just like the lady said, she was a single mom and she figured, how can I do this on my own? So I didn't just get into the entrepreneurial journey just by happen. So I started a business, and for those of you who don't know me, again, she said, I'm Regina, and I work with high school students on getting prepared for college. I did for over 6 years. Never once in sharing, and I've shared at high schools all over the county, never once in sharing did I tell the kids why I do what I do. And that was because I was just like them, and my mother was just like their parents. We would go to workshops, we would go to parent nights, and we would try and figure it out, but when we got home, it was so much overload, we didn't know what to do with it. So when it came time to it, the great thing was I was a go-getter. I was a pusher, and my mother was an encourager. So I was able to figure it out and get to college. But how many of you know I translate that over now as a business owner? I've gone to a lot of conferences, which I kind of just backed down from doing because it was overload. I was getting a lot of roo-rah, but I didn't know what to do with all that roo-rah. See, you can get all the steps. They give you 1, 2, 3, but they don't give you how to execute. 1, 2, 3 is great. But what you going to do with 1, 2, 3? Can you execute 1, 2, and 3 when you leave there? Or will 1, 2, and 3 stay written down in your journal?